the dark, sprawling beast of a metropolis that never truly sleeps. It all starts there, with the hum of the city's chaos, blending into the growl of a motorcycle engine slicing through the night. And on that motorcycle, an unknown rider, helmet gleaming under the dim city lights, who greets Gotham like an old lover he's been away from for too long. He's got a voice, low, sharp, and full of weight, and he launches into a monologue like he's speaking directly to the soul of the city. "Hello again, Gotham," he begins, his tone both nostalgic and biting. "It's been a long time. So who are you these days? Who have you become while I was gone? You're prettier, I'll give you that. Taller and brighter. My third lap around and I still cannot find it. Where's your heart? You used to have a center, hot and beating, but something's hollowed you out. In fact, I barely recognize you anymore. I'm not sure I like this new you, Gotham, but that's okay. I don't think you're gonna like me much either." And then he drops the bombshell of his identity. "My name is Alfred Pennyworth, and I'm here to do some bad things." That's right, Alfred Pennyworth. Not the genteel butler you might remember, oh no. This is a man who's been through wars, conflicts, and battles of a different kind. He's here with a purpose, and he's not about to waste time. First stop, a familiar tea shop run by an old friend, Amir. The place is warm, welcoming, the kind of refuge one rarely finds in Gotham. Amir's face lights up the moment Alfred steps through the door. "So good to see you, old friend," Amir says with genuine warmth. "I still stock your favorite." "You're a giant among men, Amir," Alfred replies, his gratitude tempered with a small, wry smile. "True, true," Amir jokes, but his tone turns serious for a moment. "But I wouldn't leave your bike out there unless you're asking for trouble." Alfred waves off the concern with a single word, "Never." But as he leaves with his tea in hand, Amir's words stay with him. It takes Alfred back years ago to Kabul, where Amir fled during the occupation. Alfred had spent countless evenings at Amir's apartment, teaching his sons how to play cricket, sharing meals. Sometimes he wonders if Amir would still open his door so readily if he knew the darker truths of Alfred's past. But Gotham's a tough city for tea, and Amir's shop is the best there is. That's reason enough for Alfred to keep his safe house nearby. And speaking of the safe house, it's nothing fancy, definitely not the mansion of the Wayne family. It's small, functional, a hideout for a man used to living on the edges. Inside, Alfred hangs up his coat, sets down a pistol, and lets out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. A cup of tea follows, steaming gently as he sinks into a chair. His eyes fall on a photo, him and his daughter Julia. He stares at it for a long moment before finally picking up the phone. "Julia, hi. I know it's been a long time, but I'm in Gotham. At least for a short while. I don't know if you even still live here anymore, but if you do, I'd be grateful for the chance to see you. This is your father, by the way." He sighs as he ends the call, setting the phone aside with a weariness that says more than words ever could. But Alfred Pennyworth doesn't get to dwell for long. Business calls. Logging into a secure connection, he speaks to his handler, the faceless entity that keeps him employed. "What's the assignment?" he asks, direct and to the point. The response is grim. In the past 3 months, a gang known as the Party Animals has been wreaking havoc, raising the murder rate by 700%, torching daycares, and butchering citizens at random. Just yesterday, they danced outside a burning building while 32 people died. Alfred scans the docket, his eyes narrowing. But why pull me out of Singapore? I was this close to the target. 5 years of chasing, and I was about to have him. The handler's answer is cold and absolute. "You're needed here now." Then a twist, another player has entered the scene. The handler reveals that someone else seems to be circling the Party Animals. Their intel is sparse, just a fleeting image. We can recognize that unmistakable figure. It's Batman. Oh, and let me tell you, Batman in this story, phenomenal. The way Bruce Wayne is written, chef's kiss, but I digress. The handler gives Alfred 2 tasks: keep tabs on the Party Animals and, more intriguingly, monitor the Dark Knight himself. Coordinates are sent. The mission is set, and Alfred, he's ready to get to work. Gotham, I hate this forking city. After all, Gotham might have lost its heart, but Alfred Pennyworth hasn't lost his edge. And then the scene shifts, swooping us from Alfred's gritty reflections to the rhythmic thuds of fists meeting leather in a dimly lit gym. This is Croc's gym, a place that smells of sweat and echoes with the grunts of effort. And there, in the heart of it all, is none other than Bruce Wayne, hammering away at a punching bag like it's the only thing keeping him tethered to the ground. But this isn't the Bruce Wayne you're used to. This isn't the billionaire playboy or the polished vigilante. No, this Bruce is raw, grounded, practicing with a focus that borders on feral. His punches are relentless, and with every strike, the sound of the gym fades into a memory. It's a flashback to his childhood. Young Bruce enjoys a field trip to a zoo with his classmates and his father, Thomas Wayne. And here's the twist. In this absolute universe, Thomas Wayne isn't a wealthy industrialist. Nope. He's an elementary school teacher, his world revolving around books and blackboards instead of boardrooms and billion-dollar deals. Mr. Wayne, Bruce calls his father, a habit that carries more meaning than formality, and there's a weight to it, a story untold. They're discussing lions, majestic, powerful creatures, and Thomas asks, "So what did we learn?" Bruce, ever the sharp kid, answers with a bit of snark, that he sleeps 20 hours a day, gets fed prime rib 3 times a day, and never has to be afraid of anything. This kid's living the life. There's a faint laugh, a moment of levity in a life destined for darkness. But Thomas, with his steady demeanor, shifts the subject. "Are you excited for the movie later tonight?" A simple question, tinged with fatherly warmth. Bruce shrugs, "I'm more excited for a nap than anything else." It's the kind of response only a kid who doesn't know what's about to come would give. For now, their world seems normal, grounded, almost idyllic. The memory shatters as the sound of gunshots echoes in the zoo. Bruce doesn't flinch. His focus narrows, and with one final devastating punch, the bag gives way, its contents spilling to the floor. Enter Killer Croc. But not the monstrous villain of legend. No, this Croc is different. He steps into the frame not as an adversary, but as a figure layered with complexity. This Killer Croc isn't skulking in sewers or terrorizing innocents. There's a casual exchange between Croc and Bruce, and you can tell there's history here, though it's not the usual predator-prey dynamic. They banter about Croc's exotic pets. Yes, he's got a crocodile license courtesy of Oswald Cobblepot, of all people. Oswald, or Ozzy, as he's apparently known in this world, arranged for Croc's license, turning his love for reptiles into something almost wholesome. Then there's the kicker. As they talk, it becomes clear that Bruce and Croc aren't just casual acquaintances. They and others like Selina Kyle, Oswald Cobblepot, and even Edward Nygma share a past, a shared childhood, growing up in Gotham's darker corners, forging bonds that would eventually twist into something far more complicated. Now picture this, a luxury yacht bobbing gently on Gotham's dark waters, its opulence a stark contrast to the sinister meeting taking place aboard. The Falcone crime family, the old guard of Gotham's underworld, are seated at an ornate table. These men have ruled the city's shadows for decades, and they are not accustomed to being challenged. Across from them sits the leader of the party animal gang, a man who can only be described as a walking nightmare. Unhinged, dark, and exuding a kind of controlled chaos that chills even these seasoned criminals. The Falcone representatives waste no time with pleasantries. They make their position clear. Get out of Gotham, or we'll wipe your gang off the map. It's a declaration of war, spoken with the confidence of men who believe themselves untouchable. After all, they've kept Gotham under their thumb for generations. Who is this upstart to challenge their dominance? But the party animal leader doesn't flinch. Instead, he leans back, a smile curling his lips, and begins a speech that spirals into madness. "Friends, I'm afraid you have me all wrong," he says with a sinister charm. "History is what I'm all about. That's what we're celebrating here." And then he reveals them, masks ornate, eerie, and unmistakably death mask. He gestures to them with reverence, his voice softening with a macabre enthusiasm. "Not just any masks," he murmurs, standing to showcase his collection. "This one is rumored to have belonged to Socrates himself. And this one, Martin Luther." The room grows colder as he points out mask after mask, each a symbol of history steeped in death and upheaval. The Falcone men shift uncomfortably. What is this display? Who is this lunatic and what's he playing at? But then comes the real horror. The party animal leader doesn't just stop at masks. With a flourish, he reveals something far more chilling, a severed head, the head of Salvatore Falcone's brother. The Falcone men freeze, their bravado evaporating in an instant as the grotesque truth sets in. "Oh," the party animal leader says, his tone almost apologetic. "I forgot to mention Sal's cousin? He's here too." Another severed head is unveiled, and the implication is clear. This isn't a negotiation. The party animals aren't a gang looking for territory. They're a tidal wave of destruction, and the Falcones have already been swept away. The leader's grin widens as he stands, his menacing aura now overwhelming the room. "You see," he continues, "by the time you decided to show up and make your little threats, it was already too late. The demons are at the door." And with a swift, merciless efficiency, the party animal gang strikes. Gunshots echo across the yacht, the Falcone men dropping one by one. No survivors, no mercy. Their heads, like the others, are destined for mounting, trophies in this madman's collection. As the yacht bobs calmly on the waves, the massacre complete, it's clear, Gotham's criminal underworld isn't just being challenged, it's being annihilated. The party animals aren't here to play by the rules of the old guard. They're here to burn it all down, and they've already lit the match. The narrative picks up with Bruce Wayne. No more hesitation, no more preparation. He dons the mantle of the Bat, a dark shadow rising from Gotham's depths. The city's protector has returned, forged in fire and ready to face the inferno of the party animal gang's reign of terror. It's not just about the suit, it's about the resolve. This Bruce isn't becoming Batman for the first time. He's returning to it, reclaiming his place as Gotham's defender. Meanwhile, Croc had tipped him off about the town hall meeting called by Mayor Jim Gordon. It's an attempt to address the spiraling fear gripping Gotham, to reassure the citizens that their city isn't lost. Citizens are desperate, voices rising as they berate Gordon. "You ran on your record as a cop," one man accuses, "but where's that backbone now? You're no better than Hill." A name that still carries weight among Gotham's downtrodden, for better or worse. Killer Croc rises to his feet, defending Gordon. "Hill was a crook," he growls, the disdain evident in his voice. The citizen scoffs, his voice bitter. "Yeah, but at least he was tough." And there it is, the raw truth of Gotham. Fear and desperation don't breed logic. They breed longing for strength, no matter how corrupt its source. Then, another voice cuts through the fray. An elderly man, stooped but proud, recounts his story. "I run Finger Tailor on 27th Street, he begins, his voice heavy with decades of wariness. "Every weekday for 71 years, I've walked to my shop 18,032 times. Except the day my son was born and the day my wife died." A pause, the weight of his words sinking in. "But I don't walk there anymore. I don't walk anywhere. Because I'm scared." And there it is, the heart of Gotham's plight, laid bare in trembling words. The people aren't just angry, they're terrified. Outside, unseen by the gathering crowd, Alfred Pennyworth watches. From the shadows, ever the professional, he surveys the scene. His handler buzzes in his ear, feeding him intel. The party animal gang is converging, surrounding the town hall. Dozens of them, armed and ready. The plan is as straightforward as it is brutal. Trap Gotham's civic leaders and its citizens in one place, then slaughter them all. Alfred tightens his grip on his weapon. The demons are at the door, indeed. Inside, the discussion grows more heated. Gordon, stoic as ever, tries to reassure the crowd. He promises justice, vows that he and the police are working tirelessly. But his words ring hollow to many. "The cops," someone shouts. "The party animals torched a police station 2 hours ago. They're not afraid of you." The crowd murmurs in agreement. Fear, the backbone of authority, is failing the police. Then a voice rises above the chaos. Selina Kyle, poised and fierce, stands to address the room. Her words are sharp, cutting through the fear like a blade. "Look at us, all of us," she says, her tone commanding attention. "This is what they want. They want us fighting, scared, blaming each other. But Jim Gordon has served this city honorably for a long time. I work with his office, and I trust him. I also trust us to be better than this." Her words are a rallying cry, a plea for unity in a city fractured by fear. But just as she's about to drive her point home, chaos erupts. A grenade arcs through the air, landing with a metallic clink at the center of the room. Not a lethal explosive, but a flashbang. The hall fills with a blinding light and an ear-splitting crack. Panic takes hold. People scream, stumbling blindly, their cries echoing against the walls. And the party animals don't just show up quietly, oh no. They bust in like they own the place, guns out and swagger turned up to 11. And the first thing they do, they start taunting the room, real nasty like. So, their leader sneers, anybody want to beg? Anybody want to talk about how they've got a family or some kids to feed? Maybe a sweet little grandma they're taking care of. Oh, we love that kind of stuff. We eat it up. They're reveling in the fear, drinking it in like it's their lifeblood. And then bang, a shot rings out. They aim for Jim Gordon. They don't kill him, but they do tag him good, leaving him clutching his shoulder. And that's not even the half of it. Guess who's in the room? Barbara Gordon. That's right, young Babs, working the beat as a cop, trying to make a difference the hard way. She rushes to her father's side, but before she can even process what's happening, the chaos turns up another notch. Suddenly, these party animals, they're yanked backward, out the very door they came in through. And before anyone can figure out what just happened, the door slams shut, hard enough to rattle the walls. Barbara, ever the curious cop, creeps up to crack the door open, just to take a peek. And standing there, waiting like a predator in the dark, Batman, he doesn't yell, he doesn't explain. He just looks at her and says, calm and cold, whatever you hear, do not open this door. And then, oh man, the bat lets loose. Inside, Alfred Pennyworth is watching all of this unfold, calm as a cat in a storm. He's listening to his handler's voice crackle over the comms. They tell him, if this third party interferes with your operation, you are to engage. Alfred just smirks to himself, muttering, all right then, and closes his eyes. Why, plausible deniability. If he doesn't see it, he can't be held responsible. Classic Alfred, and boy does Batman go to work. The party animals, thinking they're hot stuff, start unloading their weapons at him. But he's hanging from the rafters, like some nightmare out of a horror movie. Bullets, they don't do squat. Turns out his suit's bulletproof, because of course it is. Then, like a demon, he descends, silent and methodical, and it's game over for these jokers. No words, not a single one. Just brutal efficiency. He dismantles every one of them like he's got a personal grudge against chaos itself. Meanwhile, Alfred's listening in, narrating the whole thing like it's his own private movie night. Look at you go, he mutters. Whoever you are, you've got flair, I'll give you that. Let's see what you're really made of. And as the fight rages on, Alfred starts to piece together who or what this Batman really is. You're fast, you're steady, above all, you're focused. You've been waiting for this, haven't you? You have. You've trained mixed martial arts, Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but you're a striker above all else. Brutal yet precise. You're putting on a show. And Batman? Oh, he's sending a message, all right? Every punch, every move is calculated to inspire fear. A leg stomp, the crack echoing in the room, an arm snapped over his knee, leaving no doubt that he means business. Alfred grins, muttering, you're enjoying this, aren't you? But it's not just brutality. Batman's surgical with it. Every knife strike misses a fatal artery by a hair. Not a single kill, not one. An idealist, Alfred muses. Bloody hell. Then the main act comes in. This bruiser of a guy who calls himself the Hand. And let me tell you, this dude is a piece of work. This hand has killed more people than you can count, he growls, stepping forward. I'll give you one chance to get out of our way. And what does this guy do? He whips out the biggest meat cleaver you've ever seen. It's like something out of a nightmare. But Batman? Oh, he's ready. Out comes the Batman battle axe. Yeah, you heard that right. A battle axe. And in one clean swing, Batman chops the hand clean off. The guy's screaming, clutching his stump, and Batman, as cool as ice, taunts him. There's a hospital around here somewhere, but I can't remember which direction it is. You'd better start running unless you want to bleed out. And just like that, the Hand takes off, stumbling and crying for help. Batman turns to the rest of the gang, his voice low and deadly. Get out of my way. And you know what they do? They scatter, gone, like roaches when the light comes on. Alfred, sharp-eyed and always a few steps ahead, is watching the aftermath of Batman's chaos. And what does he do? He mutters to himself, well done, but if you were a true tactician, you'd have set up a trap for those fleeing the scene. And just as he says it, guess what? That's exactly what Batman's done. A few clicks here, a button pressed there, and boom, the place goes up in flames. Not enough to turn everyone into ash, mind you, but just enough to send the right message. Don't mess with the bat. But Alfred, he's got a job to do. His contact's voice buzzes in his ear, barking orders. What's happening? The satellite feed doesn't make any sense. Whoever this player is, you are to engage. Alfred, cool as a cucumber. Okay, he says, moving into position. Now picture this. Alfred steps out of the shadows and levels one mean-looking piece of tech at Batman. He announces, with all the gravitas of a man who's been in wars, "This is the sound of a DC-34 automatic shotgun, son. There are only 3 of them in the world. It could blow your brains all over the sidewalk before you even blink." And Batman, oh, he doesn't flinch, doesn't even blink. He kicks Alfred, disarms him, and get this, grabs the gun for himself. Casually slinging it over his shoulder, he quips, "Sounds dangerous." And just like that, he's gone. Now Alfred, shaken but never stirred, isn't done. He dives into a deep investigation, the kind of digging that turns over every stone, every shadowy corner. And what does he find? Oh, he pieces together the origin of this so-called Batman, the myth, the legend, the man in the absolute universe. Next day, Gotham's abuzz. Everyone's asking who is the Batman. But Alfred? He's got the answer. He narrates, almost like he's talking directly to the guy. So who are you really, Bruce Wayne? You hide your tracks well, I'll give you that. But it's easy when you're no one. Just some kid, 24 years old. Your mom's a social worker, your dad's a teacher. You grew up in crime alley. High friends in low places, a tight crew. You're smart, excelled in school. They had you tested, near genius level. 5th grade, you won some student engineering competition, built a collapsible mobile bridge to deliver aid to war-torn or disaster-hit areas. Origami inspired, like the anatomy of a bat's wing. Prize? A trip for your class to the Gotham Zoo. And here's where it all goes south. That trip, Alfred continues, was where it started. Somebody started shooting into the crowd. People were dying, chaos everywhere. Your father, Thomas Wayne, grabbed the kids and hid them in the bat house. Told them to stay safe. But in the middle of all that madness, he got shot. That moment, it changes Bruce forever. After that, you lose yourself, Alfred murmurs. You rage at the world, but then something inspires you. You straighten out, go back to school, land a scholarship to the state's best university. But then, first week, you're injured. A soft tissue tear, or so you claimed. But I've seen the x-rays, Bruce. I've been in command of men who fake injuries to escape duty. And that's what you did, isn't it? You were good enough to go pro. But no, you were saving your body. For this. For last night. For all of this. And it doesn't stop there. Alfred digs deeper. You studied everything. Applied mechanics, chemistry, criminal psychology, military theory, even sociology and public policy. You didn't just want to fight. You wanted to understand. When you came back to Gotham, you worked in the power grid, then the water department, then interned at City Hall. You learned this city like a doctor learns anatomy. The brain, the body, every piece of it. And then, you built this. You fixed what you broke, repaired the very stairs you blew up last night. You've built something here, Bruce. Something truly impressive. But Alfred's not done. He leans in, his voice taking on a harder edge. But I've taken down men like you before. Crusaders, in cities, in jungles, in deserts, all over the world. And you know what they all have in common? They've all got a weakness. They all care about something. And you, Alfred's gaze sharpens, cutting right through the myth of Batman. Yours is sitting right there. His mother, Martha Wayne. Seemingly she never died. It was just his father. I could kill you right here in front of her. It would be that easy. It's what I should do. But then he gets a text from Julia. Never contact me again. He looks at Bruce and Martha. His voice softens just a touch and he admits, but you're just a kid. Now let's talk about where Bruce Wayne set up shop. Forget your fancy bat cave nestled under a sprawling Wayne Manor. Oh no, not in this world. Bruce lives in the heights of abandoned old skyscrapers. These aren't just empty buildings, they're tax write-offs, long forgotten and ignored. No one pays them any attention, which makes them the perfect base for someone looking to operate under the radar. It's like Batman's own little fortress in the sky. So Alfred, he's done with the games. He shows up at one of these rooftops, pistol in hand, and declares, "I'm shutting you down." That's the end of it. But Bruce, cool as ever, he draws Alfred's prized DC-34 shotgun, the very one he swiped earlier. Alfred, clearly unimpressed, throws it back at him. "I thought you were better than this." You're non-lethal. You don't kill people, right? And what does Batman do? Fires? Yep, point blank at Alfred. For the moment, it looks like he's crossed the line. But then, Alfred gives us the breakdown. A few things happen very fast. First, I realize he's modified my shotgun to be non-lethal. Basically, he ruined it. Second, I hear the gun clatter by my side as though he's saying keep it. Third, I hear the roar of my own motorcycle. And fourth, his voice cuts through it all. You're not the only one who follows people. Turns out Batman had been tailing Alfred from the moment he arrived in Gotham. Just as Alfred had been studying Batman, Bruce had been watching Alfred, learning his every move. The man's always 2 steps ahead, and Alfred knows it. But here's the real question. What does it all mean? Alfred, watching Bruce ride off into the night, wonders aloud, where are you going? What happens when you truly become the person you're trying to be? Now let's fast forward to the epilogue, because this is where things get even juicier. Alfred, back in communication with his shadowy handlers, tells them, I'll handle Batman the next time he interferes. His contact agrees, but casually drops a bombshell. By the way, that target you were tracking in the Philippines before we pulled you out? He's in the wind. Nobody knows where he is. Thought you should know. And this strikes a nerve. Alfred recounts it all, a flicker of bitterness in his voice. 5 years I tracked him. 5 years while he studied under Henry Ducard in France. Then killed him. Trained with the League of Assassins. Then killed them too. And now he's gone. Now, the scene shifts to Manila, and we get a glimpse of 2 pilots, chattering nervously as they wait for their mysterious passenger. One of them breaks the silence, asking, Is there nothing else we can call him besides Sir? No name or anything like that. The other pilot shakes his head. Nope, all the names are fake anyway. Jack, Arthur. Even I don't know his real name. When you're one of the 30 richest men on the planet, you can be whoever you want to be. The first pilot, trying to lighten the mood, jokes, You think he'd want to be my rich, generous best friend? But the second guy's dead serious now. Don't joke, don't even think about it. Why? The first asks. And the second, with a grim look, replies, Because didn't you hear? The guy never laughs. Not at anything. Ever, that's why they call him the Joker.